Hi there. It's true. J.R. Ewing made me rich.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Good day, everybody. I was just putting on a little hop on the poo. Today I want to talk more in depth about loving yourself. Right now I am listening to the Ho'oponopono meditation, which basically helps you to resolve relationships within yourself or with other people. And it basically goes, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. So again, you can say that to yourself, like if you feel like you've done something that you need to forgive yourself for, like if you allowed someone to violate you and didn't stand up for yourself, and then you go home and beat yourself up about it, you can forgive yourself. And the Ho'oponopono prayer is, or meditation is one of the ways that you can do that. So it's story time. I just wanted to tell a story. So around circa 2013 is when I first started meditating. Maybe 2012, 2013. I think January 2013, if I'm not mistaken, with Deepak and Oprah. But then, not too long after that, I started doing affirmations because I met a sister who gave me this page. It's self-help-self-development.com. And ever since, I've been a fan of the site. And so one of the first meditations or affirmations that I went to was about self-love. It's a very simple meditation, actually, or affirmation. I keep saying meditation instead of affirmation. Is that what you start to do when you get older? No, I know I did it when I was younger too. I'm teasing. But in any event, the affirmation is very simple, and it's I love you. But let's see. When you say the affirmation, you're supposed to be in front of a mirror, and basically your nose is supposed to touch the glass, and you're supposed to look at yourself in the eyeballs and say, I love you. And then you move back a little bit and say, I love you again. And then you move back a little bit more until you're actually seeing your whole body nude if you have a full-length mirror. But the purpose is to say it, I love you, at least 100 times while standing nude in front of a mirror. And to my surprise, when I first said it the first time, when I was here at this point, the nose touching the mirror, when I was there and I said I love you while looking myself in the eyeballs, I started crying. And my first thought was like, oh wow, I don't really love myself, or I don't love myself as much as I think I do. And the way that shows up is by allowing people to disrespect you or cross your boundary. I'm not even going to say disrespect you. Allowing people to cross a boundary and not addressing it. And when we say something, it doesn't have to be mean or nasty, but we should say something like, do you think that was appropriate? It could be something as simple as that. Did you think what you just said to me was appropriate? Now they might get mad at you because people don't like you to call them out. So however you need to do it to make you feel comfortable or to avoid conflict. You may not be able to avoid conflict because you never know what's on a person's mind. People have had different experiences from you, and you may or may not know what some of those experiences are. And so people react accordingly. So you can't control the way somebody responds, but again, it's a matter of speaking up for yourself. Also doing toxic things. We do toxic things like drink, smoke, have inappropriate relationships, eat foods that we know aren't healthy for us. All of those things are actually anti-self-love. Because when we love ourselves, we treat ourselves the best. We treat ourselves with care. We give ourselves good things that will be beneficial to our bodies, our minds, our spirits, so that we can be healthy. But when we have insecurities and self-esteem issues, when we've been manipulated and controlled and bullied and dismissed and mistreated in other ways, sometimes we don't even realize that we're not loving on ourselves the way that we should. You know, when a stressful situation happens, the solution should not be to run to a cigarette. And I'm not picking on anybody. Don't take it the wrong way. I just use that as an example. But the first thing we should do, we shouldn't just run to smoke, or drink alcohol, or have sex, or like I said, eat something. Like if you're diabetic, for example, just go eat a whole cake or something like that. We shouldn't do those things, but we do because we've been conditioned to cope with the stress and the mistreatment in a way that does not love. It doesn't show ourselves love the way that we should. It's not a good display of self-love. We have to learn to take a stand. Take a stand in your life. Stand up for what you know is right, what you believe in, and do what's right, best for yourself. I know that for myself, you know, the doctors are unable to find out what's wrong with me, right? It's been months now. And one of the things that I've been thinking about is the mistreatment that I received in a certain situation, the lack of support, being told that I'm a pushover, but then at the same time, I don't know how to talk to people. Which one is it? Which one is it? How can I be both? That's just an example of some of the things that I was doing with. Again, how can it be both? Does that make logical sense? Think about that. So, there's a such thing as psychological and emotional stress. And there's a book. It's called The Body Keeps Score. And in that book, the author basically explains how mental and emotional stress can show up as pain in the body because the body's keeping score. Just like when we eat something, our body, you know, anytime we eat anything with sugar or carbohydrates, it's stored as fat. Remember when we were in elementary school, preschool, and we used to do the paper mache projects, and you would use flour and water to make glue? Well, it's glue in your body too, and that's why it sticks to you and turns into fat. So sugar and starches turn into fat in our bodies. This is not my opinion. This is science, and you can Google it or read it in a book. Or you can ask your doctor the next time you go for a visit. So this can be confirmed. I'm not making it up. You know, I'm not telling this to anybody to be mean or anything like that. So please don't take it the wrong way. Anyway, you know what? I'm going to stop doing that, explaining myself. I'm just going to say what the hell is on my mind and be done with it. Because I don't have time for it to keep interrupting myself. And then I'm going to forget what I got to say anyway. So, with the paper mache projects, when we used to make glue, again, it would stick to it. Well, you know, you're making this paper mache. But anyway, flour and water. Anything with flour and water. So, that's bread. It would also include rice and potatoes too, but all the cookies, crackers, cakes, even candy, because it's sugar. So sugar is a carbohydrate too. So sugar and other carbohydrates turn into fat in the body. So when you have mental and emotional stress, that shows up sometimes as pain in the body. Now, how do I know that this is true for myself? I worked for a company for 7.5 years. And the first position I had, I loved it. You know, it was great. You know, I loved being in that office. I loved being around the people in that office. I got to kind of get away from my normal environment and see a different environment. So it was good for me. The second position I had, my boss was racist. I'm just going to put it out there. And I probably stayed there a little over a year. It was the same company, just moved from one office to another. So, there was just myself and one other woman of color. And she had dealt with it for over 20 years. And I was like, how did you do that this long? I don't understand how you've been over here this long. Maybe it wasn't 20. Maybe it was 10 or 15. I can't remember the exact number of years she had been in that department as of that point. But it was a long time. It was years. It was at least over a decade. And I was like, how? Like, I don't understand how. I can't even deal with this another day. That's kind of where I was at with it. I can't deal with this another day. You talking about years? Oh nah, I'm out. So I started looking for another position. So the last position that I had at the company was in customer service, and it was a union job. And so, you know, working there, you know, we cool with the technicians cool with us. You know, we worked, some of them, of course, we worked with in other offices and stuff like that. So what they would do is intentionally miss jobs so that they could get overtime. So you would have customers calling in, and we had to take 100 calls a day, and 90% of those callers were irate, and they would be so pissed off because a lot of times they have taken off work to stay, you know, to meet the technician. And some of them would call and say, well, I was looking out the window, I saw the technician pull up. It's not funny, but in hindsight, I can, you know, joke about it. Technician pulled up to my house, and I saw him sit in his car and eat a sandwich and read the newspaper and then drove off. He didn't even walk up to my door. Again, it's not funny, but like, I'm saying it pretty nice or sweet or whatever, but they would be yelling and cussing. And so, you know, you're always told at jobs, oh, don't take it personal. But, and you know, I wouldn't match their tone or their temper for the most part. I'm sure I had a couple incidents where, not maybe match their tone or temper, but I probably said something sarcastic because I, you know, so yeah, they, what would happen is because I was getting cussed out basically all day, every day, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, sometimes even during overtime, I started getting migraines. So I wasn't necessarily taking it personally, but my body was like, yeah, this is a lot. So I started having migraines. And I have a cousin who died from having migraines. And so I just kind of asked myself, is this $23.14 an hour worth my life, my whole life? Not to mention, when I first started in the new office, there was a young lady who was maybe 2 years younger than me, who had a daughter that was probably close in age to my son at that time. And she was on her way to work and she just dropped dead. And I'm not saying it that way to be mean or harsh, but like that thought has replayed in my mind. And the crazy part is, I never had the opportunity to meet her, but I feel like I met her because I heard so much about Brielle. I still remember her name. And I honor her memory, because it is unfortunate that she lost her life, but she may have helped to save mine. And I love her for that. And I hope that her daughter's doing well, and her mom, and her other relatives. If you ever have the opportunity to see this, and somebody tells you who I am, I hope that you appreciate that. But yeah, she was walking down the stairs on her way to work and she died. And at 20 something years old, leaving a child on this earth, that's very, very sad. And so, like I said, I have a cousin who died from migraines. Or did I say that already? Yeah, I had a cousin who died from having migraines in her 20s. And she was probably 10 to 15 years older than me. So by the time I was experiencing it, she probably would have been in her 30s, or probably in her 30s. I don't think she would have been in her 40s. But Tanea, she, again, in her 20s. It was so sad. And to know that it was because of migraines, like, when they say that stress can kill you, that they literally mean stress can kill you. One of my best friends, and I'm pretty sure I told this story on here before, but he passed away. The doctors haven't confirmed it, but my intuition confirmed it. He, if nothing else, is at least a consequence of. He and I became friends a long time ago, 2005, 2006. And we worked together. He was my best friend, one of my best friends for 21 years, and we never had an argument. And so he and I went out on a date, and it's funny, because I didn't have sex with him after the date, in his mind, he convinced himself that I didn't like him. So, because he felt that I didn't like him, he immediately started seeing somebody else, I guess to boost his self-esteem up. And so he said to me, oh yeah, she's light-skinned and she got a big booty, but she got a nasty attitude. So I said, are you sure? He was like, yeah, I can handle it, and I got it under control. Okay. Well, fast forward 19 years and 3 kids later, that he, according to him, she trapped him with each one of the babies by saying she was on birth control and come to find out she really wasn't. Or she would stop taking it because she wanted to get pregnant. And she would say that she wanted to get pregnant, and then she would just do what she needed to do to get pregnant. So, but of course he loved them, and he spent all their time with them. She even had 2 other kids before they had kids together, because it was actually years before they even had the first one. So he would take care of them like they were his own, do for them and be there for them just like they were his own children. And she was mad at him, so she turned the kids against him, and that really stressed him out, and he would want to talk about that a lot. And come to find out, after he passed away, there was a park that he used to go to, apparently to clear his mind or write or, do whatever he would do. And he was at work, so he was a comedian, and he worked for the rail system. And he was at work one day, and he said something fell on his head, so it gave him a concussion. So the doctors recommended that he have surgery to reduce the swelling, and he did. But because of the stress that he was going through from dealing with her, he took off about 6 weeks from the rail system, but he was still out and about in the comedy scene, still drinking and not giving his body the proper rest. So that's how he spent the 6 weeks that he should have been recovering. He kind of just spent it hanging out, drinking. Like, he didn't just have surgery on his whole brain. And so when he finally went back to work after the 6 weeks, he was in his office because he was a supervisor. So his manager was next door, and he said all of a sudden he just heard a loud thump. And when he went to find out what that thump was, he realized it was my friend on the floor, and he had passed away. But one of the things that has stuck with me is when the pastor said, live each day as if it's your last. And we've heard that before, but it resonates different when someone so young passes away, and then when you find out the reason, like it was so unnecessary. But again, stress can kill you. So instead of stressing over things that we can't control, we need to practice self-love. That's the purpose of self-love. That's the purpose of meditation, so that you're so centered and so grounded that nobody sways you one way or the other. See, people will call me a pushover for not being swayed one way or the other. But in my mind, that's your karma. That don't have nothing to do with me. Your reaction has nothing to do with me, and the consequences that you're going to receive have nothing to do with me. So, do what you want to do. I'm just going to sit back and watch. I'm not going to say nothing. I mean, I might say something again, because we do have to take a stand and set boundaries and make sure that other people adhere to those boundaries. And if they don't adhere to those boundaries, understanding that it's okay not to deal with those people. It's okay to love somebody from afar and you can even you can forgive them, because again, remember I was playing the Hapanapu. The phone rang so many times it cut off. But remember the Hapanapu. If you are dealing with someone toxic and you've set a boundary and they still cross your boundary, you have the right to leave that person alone. We don't have to feel obligated. We don't have to feel shame, blame, guilt, or regret, or any of those things. We don't have to do that.
Please forgive me.
We can walk away knowing that we're going to have harmony in our heart, in our mind, and in our spirit.
I'm sorry.
And that's what it's all about. Because how can you be there for yourself? How can you help other people? How can you be there for your children? How can you show up properly at work if you have a whole bunch of junk and foolishness on your mind?
I'm sorry.
And then what happens? People get spiteful and petty, and the shit that they going through at home that don't got nothing to do with nobody else, they taking it out on you. And excuse my cussing for any any of my elders who are on here. I do my best to respect my elders, so I do apologize if you were offended. But every now and then I might say a cuss word or two or three. I'm just saying. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Okay. So, yeah, people take their frustrations out on other people who have nothing to do with it. Hurting people hurt people. But you don't have to let somebody keep hurting you and just deal with it. You don't have to do that. You can empower yourself. You can take a stand. Just like Yeshua, when he went to the temple or the whatever he was, I can't remember, and they were practicing usury, and he said, oh hell no, and just started turning tables over. Sometimes you got, not literally, but sometimes you figuratively have to just go in there and start turning tables over. Like, no, hell no. We're not about to do this. No. It's not going down like that. Shorty. But we do have to learn healthy coping mechanisms so that we can thrive in this world. And not just be in a place where we're striving. We need to actually thrive. So, it's okay for you to avoid people who make you feel bad. Again, you don't have to feel guilty, ashamed. Don't listen to those people and say, oh, well, you only have one. Oh, well, you only this. I wish my so-and-so. I understand that. And under normal circumstances, I might feel like that too. But if you're being, if you're in a toxic situation, and if you've been in that toxic situation for any significant length of time, in order for you to have your health, it's okay for you to walk away for your own health and your own well-being. For your mental health, your emotional health, and your spiritual health. That is important for you in your life, because this is your life. This is not anybody else's life. And really, once we are born, we're our own person. I don't know why, well, I do know why, but society has certain people thinking that they're supposed to manipulate and control their children. No, you're supposed to allow your children to be who they are and guide them. And then once they become adults, you're supposed to advise them. But a lot of people don't understand that that's how it's supposed to work. They feel like they're just always supposed to manipulate, control, and have some type of dominance in this person's life. No. And so if you have somebody around you who feels that way, again, it's okay for you to take a stand and take a step back. Because your brain has recorded and stored everything that has been done to you by that. Everything that you've experienced. I don't like to say that anything has been done to you or to me, because everything is an experience. So, and I don't want to put it on me like, oh, this happened to me. That's a victim mentality. So it's better to say you had an experience. So, when we experience direct conflict, it causes anxiety, and our brains record that information and store it, and it could show up as pain in the body, as a headache, as a stomach ache, as back pain, as leg pain. Um, I know that if certain people call me, or before I call certain people, or I shouldn't say certain people, a certain person, my stomach turns in knots when I see that number come up. Or my stomach turns in knots when I even think, okay, well, let me call and say, hey, how you doing? My stomach completely, I feel like I'm having an anxiety attack. It's like horrible. Because when you experience direct conflict with someone for so many years, your brain automatically reacts to that stimuli the same way it reacted when that person triggered you, usually. And so, if you have somebody in your life who's triggering you, empower yourself. Take a stand. I like this shirt. It says, "Love is the universal language. Love is a fundamental truth. Love is patient and kind. Love is elemental. Love is worth fighting for in certain situations." Again, if it's too toxic, get out of there. Love is all you need, really. Really, like genuine love. Not the fake love, not the manipulative, I just want you to do what I want you to do love. That's not really how you love somebody. When you love someone, you accept them for who they are, the way that they are. That's what they call unconditional love. If somebody has conditions on you, then they're basically saying, well, I don't love you unless you do this. And so so we want unconditional. And I have to look up the etymology of the word unconditional to make sure that that's even a word we want to use too. Love is truth and aroma. I hear a lot of people say, everybody lie. Maybe everybody has told a lie. But there's a difference between being a liar and lying in a situation when you feel like you need to protect or defend yourself, because you're afraid of something. Like, for example, if a woman is in a toxic relationship and she comes home and her man says, "Where have you been?" And she knows that normally if she tells him she went to a certain place, she would get a punch. Maybe she'll say something different so she won't get the punch. She might still get the punch anyway because obviously he's already there. But if she can prevent it, she'll do anything she can to at least attempt. But for the most part, I'll say it like this. There are people who are honest 99.99% of the time, who don't even think about lying, like I said, unless they're in a situation where they're afraid. And my whole thing is, why do people think that for me, this is what I say, people lie when they're afraid. If I'm not afraid of you, why would I lie to you? And what reason would I have to be afraid of you? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Even if it's a job, what you gonna do? Fire me? Okay, thanks. I'll on to the next one. That has never hurt my feelings. Because anytime a situation like that ends, the door busts wide open every time. So you would be doing me a favor. Thanks. Bring it on. I'm ready. So that's how I look at situations like that. So if I'm not going to get in trouble, why do I need to lie? Like it doesn't make sense to me. So for me, telling the truth is important. And when people are dishonest with me, I can tell that they're being dishonest with me. They don't usually know that because people don't think that you comprehend and process information that way. My brain assesses everything. I overanalyze. That movie Analyze This, I analyze everything. I pay attention to things that people don't even realize I'm paying attention to. I just look around, look around. Look around, look around. When you look around and pay attention and don't say nothing, you see a whole lot. A whole lot. So, truth is important to me. It may not be important to some people, but when I meet people and I connect with people, I would like to know that they're telling me the truth. In the past, I haven't necessarily had that. And so, for me, that's a big one. I just wanted to say that. But love is truth. Love is like air. It floats. So I'm an Aquarius, and Aquarius is considered an air sign. And I've often said that I'm a little bit of an airhead. I'm not going to put nobody else in that category, but I can be a little bit of an airhead. But we like to float. Or like travel and, move around and try different foods and experience different restaurants or different adventures, stuff like that. So I love that one. And love is life. Yes, give me life. So that's one of the things that I say. We can either speak death into people or we can speak life into people. And a lot of times we can't speak life into someone else until we have healed within ourselves. So sometimes we do need to get rid of the toxic people, places, or things, and replace them with good memories, good brain associations, good emotional attachments. But acknowledgement or recognition is the first step, and that's the thing. A lot of people don't recognize the fact that they don't love themselves as much as they think they do. And of course, I can't tell anybody that. I'm probably going to turn the comments off because I'm not even interested in hearing the feedback. You don't have to agree. It's okay if you don't agree. But you can research it. I say that to people. Just about anything that I can say can be researched. 9 times out of 10, I'm never giving my opinion. 9 times out of 10, it is something I have read over the years. I was in college for off and on for 17 years. I changed my major. Let's see, it was psychology, criminal justice, media arts, dance, theater, nursing. I feel like I'm missing one. But anyway, I changed my major several times. So I'm very well versed in a plethora of subjects. In addition to the research that I've done on my own after graduating, and just being curious about life in general, people's personalities, why people do things. Like the person themselves may not want to explain why they behave the way that they do, but I'm going to Google it because I need to know. I want to know why people behave the way that they do. That is, I need to get to the bottom of it. Some people are like, oh, I don't get about that. Well, I do, and I want to know, so I look it up. And so, to each his or her own. It's not, it is what it is. Some people, I don't care about that. Well, I do, so I want to know. Because I want to know how to properly navigate through life. I don't just want to, just go through it. I mean, you are essentially just going through it, but I want to be aware and mindful. So that's one of the things, especially since I started meditating in 2013, being mindful. Not just looking at things happen like, okay, why did it happen? What does it mean? What's the outcome? Um, so there's that. But if you're interested in that website, again, it's self-development.com. There are a lot of affirmations. Matter of fact, let me see. Comes right up. So, when you go to the page, you just want to scroll down a little bit and go to the hyperlink that says Affirmations, Magic Words That Can Change Your Life. Okay. And so basically it says affirmations are simply any positive or negative statements that we make as we go through life. They can be natural, automatic statements or statements made on purpose. So an example of a negative statement would be, money doesn't grow on trees. A lot of us have limiting beliefs when it comes to money because many of us were not taught how to manage our money properly. A lot of us were taught to just spend the money that we get when we get it, and not necessarily save, not buy land, not buy a house, although some people do own houses, more specifically land. And a lot of us have just spent our money on furniture and clothes and shoes and vacations, but land is a good resource to own. But that would be an example of an automatic or a negative statement, because a lot of times we regurgitate or repeat the things that we've heard just because our parents or grandparents or someone in our life has said that before. But that may not necessarily how it works out for us. My money may grow on a tree. You never know. I don't know. So, and of course I don't mean that literally. So, again, I'll probably turn the comments off for anybody that doesn't really get what I meant, because I don't want any clapback. So that's one example of a negative one, which, whatever you tell yourself, it's true. You're right. So if you tell yourself negative things all the time, then the negativity will continue to show up in your life. But if you tell yourself good things and you actually make an effort to live that way, like, what's that WWJD? Are you going to do what should be done? Or are you going to do what Shanae and them be doing? And Paco, I don't know. I couldn't think of anything. You gonna do what they doing? Baby Kids. You gonna do what Baby Kids been doing, or you gonna do WWJD? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? I said, what you gonna do? So it's up to you. You don't have to do the affirmation. It's fine with me. It's not going to bother me. You're not going to make me angry or upset. Some people think it's stupid. Some people think you're not supposed to love yourself. Or some people are so deeply hurt that they can't even go there. They can't even wrap their brain around loving themselves. They don't even know where to begin. And I feel sad for those people. And that's why I tell people, I love you. I love you. I genuinely do. And I genuinely wish the best for you. Why? Because I know that, whatever spirits or energies are causing you to do that, it's not you. You know, when we're children, we don't do any of those things for the most part. We're taught to do those things. That's a learned, being petty, spiteful, those are all learned behaviors. Projecting our emotions onto people when it doesn't have anything to do with the other person, those are all learned behaviors. So I feel sorry for you because it's unfortunate. And I hope that one day you can learn to love yourself and not, be mad at other people because they don't think the way that you do or because they don't do things in life the way that you do them. We're all different for a reason. We're not meant to be the same. We're actually meant to be different so that we can learn from each other from a loving place. But we're so disconnected that we don't even get it. It's so sad. It's really sad. We should be united. We really should be. But it is what it is. Anyway, the affirmation topics. There's abundance, anxiety, beauty, birth, business, career, daily, diet, exercise, financial, forgiveness, goals, gratitude, happiness, pregnancy, positive thinking, parent, motivational, money, men, marriage, manifestation, love, law of attraction, job, inner child, health, healing, relationship, right eating, self-confidence, self-esteem, self-love, spiritual, stop smoking, study, success, teens, wealth, weight loss, and women. So all of those are the topics that you have to choose from. What was suggested to me was to start out with self-love, and that's what I did. I started out with self-love because you can't love anybody else if you don't love yourself first. And like I said earlier, a lot of times we think we love ourselves, but we really don't. Because even being harmful to other people is a show of you not loving yourself. Because if you understand spirituality, you know that we are all connected. So whatever you do to me, you are actually doing back to yourself. And that's one of the things that people don't understand. And that's one of the reasons why I don't do stuff like that. Because I know it's going to come back on me. So I do my best to be kind, considerate, patient, and all the other wisdom that I've learned, that's what I do my best to practice. And regardless of what anybody else is doing, that doesn't have anything to do with me. So, we are all connected. We are not disconnected. We are all connected. We are all spiritually connected. And that's how our ancestors operated. They operated as a collective. Ubuntu. U-B-U-N-T-U. They worked together as one unit. There was no separation. If somebody had one apple, guess what? And it was 25 of them, they're going to slice that apple into 25 slices. They're not going to say, this is my only apple. We don't even realize that we're selfish. You know, when I realized I was selfish, and I'm going to get ready to get off of here soon. When my son, my little sister was staying with me, so it was the three of us. And I will go to the store, and I love Ben & Jerry's Chunky Monkey ice cream. That's not a plug, but if,
I'm sorry.
I guess it's free advertising. Anyway, I would go to the store. So, but the reason I said it is, Ben & Jerry's only comes in pints. So, well, maybe you didn't know that. Ben & Jerry's only comes in pints. So whenever I went to the store, I would buy myself a pint, and I would buy them each a pint for themselves as well, because I wasn't sharing mine. And so I was talking to somebody on the phone one day. I don't remember who it was right now, but they said, "You selfish." And I was like, "What you mean? I bought them their own. Well, how am I selfish?" And he said, I'm pretty sure it was a guy. Might not have been a guy now that I think about it. I wonder if it was India. I don't know. Anyway, it might have been India. Anyhow, the person said to me, because whatever you have, you're supposed to share. So whatever portion I have, so my pint, I should have been willing to split that pint 3 ways. That was the first time I realized I was selfish. Like, wow. Oh, I thought I was doing a good thing. I guess that's some of that only child syndrome, because I was an only child for 13 years. So I was used to having everything myself on my own. I didn't really have to share. And then, even then, I was 13. And so by the time she was 5, I was 18. And, I left home. So even after that, it was still like, I was used to doing things for me on my own and not sharing. But now I share if I feel like it. I'm at least more willing to share. I still might buy another one. I don't really eat too much dairy these days, though, anyway. But Ben & Jerry's does have a non-dairy Chunky Monkey that's made with almond milk. It's good. You can taste the almond milk. So it's more like almond milk ice cream. It's good, but it's not like the original. But again, I don't really do too much dairy, so I do eat the Ben & Jerry's. But I like that Ben & Jerry's 7-layer coconut better. But anyway, I done got way off topic. Look, I'm greedy. I love to eat, y'all. And I love to talk about food. I've turned so many people onto Ben & Jerry's Chunky Monkey. It's a shame. If anybody who knows me ever watches this video, they'll probably confirm that for you. I love food. I'm such a greedy butt. I'm so greedy. I love I think I'm gonna go eat now. I gotta go find something to eat now. But anyway, the purpose of this message was to encourage you to start loving yourself more, putting yourself first, even before your children, which I know people will have a problem with that. That's not selfish. Again, how can you properly love somebody else until you love yourself first? They need to see you taking care of yourself. They need to see you doing your hair. They need to see you getting dressed. I don't care if you have on a t-shirt and leggings. It's clean. It looks presentable, Maybe you have on some earrings if you're a woman. You have your hair done. You're not going out looking any old kind of way. And I'm sorry. I love y'all. But I'm kind of on the same page with Monique. I'm Auntie Nickie right now. What's up with the bonnets, y'all? I can't even take it. Like, it blows my mind every time I see it. There's a certain pride that you should have in yourself. And for me, it's just not a good example of loving yourself. Why would you get your hair done and cover it up so you can go out to the club? I don't understand. Why do I have to? I don't understand. I don't understand it. I really don't. I really don't. If my hair is not done, I might put a hat on. I remember one time I almost walked out the house with my bonnet on and my goddaughter was at my house. And I was like, girl, why you let me walk out the house looking like this? She told me, son, what? It's cute. I don't think it's cute. I don't think it's cute. Now, I have seen some cute ones. I have seen some cute bonnets. I have one of the blue bonnets that you get from the beauty supply store. Okay? I don't think that's cute. Now, I have seen, like I said, some cute bonnets that even look kind of like hats a little bit. But still, like, love on yourself. Go out looking pretty. Like, oh, like I look good. And, hey, fellas, or hey, lady, whatever you into. I don't, that ain't none of my business. But go out looking good. Like, like your self-esteem is high, even if it's not. Get in here and do some of these affirmations to boost up your self-esteem. If your hair not, if you got a weave done and You got curls in it? Learn how to use rollers. That's what we did back in the day. You don't have to let your curls fall. Put some rollers in it. It'll still look good. As a matter of fact, you could get it to look good for about 2 weeks at least. Then you could go back to the salon and get it done again. Or if you're going to leave it in for a month, then every night for a month. Or if you want to wear it straight, whatever you're going to do. But, yeah. I don't know. But love yourself. Do whatever healing you need to do. If you went through a lot of trauma as a child, or if you were touched as a child or as an adult, get in there and do those inner child affirmations. If somebody belittled you or criticized you, judged you, talked down to you, made you feel like you were ugly or less than in any way, get in there and do those beauty affirmations. Get in there and do those self-love affirmations. If you feel like you are overweight and need to lose weight, get in there and do the right eating affirmations. Get in there and do the weight loss affirmations. Same thing with relationships, healing. There's healing. There's so many affirmations. If you're having a hard time at work, there's one for the job. So you can do it. You know, start out by doing some affirmations and then practice mindfulness, people. It makes such a big... If you're going through something, I promise you, the things that you feel like you're going through don't seem nearly as bad when you meditate. It's like, oh, okay, that happened. Let me, go ahead and go inside and heal myself real quick and, maybe cry about it, write it down, and 2-3 days, you should be at least able to cope. And I'm not even saying cope, like you should be in a good space spiritually and emotionally. You should be in a much better space. A matter if it's someone passed away, if it's divorce, whatever ending, any type of ending, your child went to school and you don't know. Because a lot of times we get emotional about things that we can't control, and it kind of... We just have to learn to balance out our emotions better, and affirmations and mindfulness meditation help do both of those. So that's basically what I'm saying and where I'm going with it. Remember to put yourself first so that you can love others properly and let them see a good example of who you are and a good example of you being the best version of yourself. And I am going to get ready to get out of here. Having an amazing day. I love you all. See you next time.